There's Dome Rock. It's still raining. One of our neighbors is gone. Dalton's still here. So it looks like we have a cloud layer, not very high above us, maybe 75 to 100 feet higher than where we are. Okay, well, I am going to try and get started on my little solar panel project. The range is supposed to be diminishing here quickly. It's 65% rain right now, and then in the next hour it's going to be 30%, and then dropping to 1% by 3 o'clock. So maybe I can get this solar panel business out of the way today. Okay, we are going to lift the new solar panel up onto the roof. A little bit of rain, but and wind. Wish me luck. I'm also going to run some wiring down there too. This is the new 10-2 outdoor wiring, UV resistant wire. You see the two 10-gauge wires inside of it right there. Okay, let's put that up. Making it a go on adding the new solar panel. I'm going to put the new panel up ahead of this panel. It'll fit nicely in there, and in the future I can put a second one over there. Then I will run the wiring right on down to the sewer vent cap here. And so what they did on this is they ran the wire down through the sewer vent and then through the kitchen cabinet to the solar controller. What I think I'm going to do is run individual wires from that panel and this panel down to the controller. And then there's a 10-gauge wire from the controller down to the batteries, but I think I'm going to increase that to a 6-gauge wire. Just in preparation for the future. Actually, maybe I'll just do a 4-gauge wire in case I do add another 170 watt panel over there. That would give me, what, 420 watts total power. So that would be good. Anyway, let's get cracking on this here and see if we can get this accomplished today before the rains return. So what we've done here, first step, is we just used a scraper blade to scrape the caulking and sealants off of the 3 screws that hold down the vent cap for the sewer. And so you just gently do that so that you don't slip and break anything. And let's pop this last one off here. Hopefully this will focus okay. There we go. So we just want to gently move things around. Okay, that is how they've run the wire down through the top of the roof right next to the sewer cap. So let me continue working away here, and I will bring you the next step when I get there. Okay, so here we go, kids. Next step, I decided to take the base off too, and so there is some putty under the base. So we're just gonna remove the old stuff here. It just lifts off nice and easy. And I have 3 marks for the base screws. There's a pencil mark here, here, and here. And I don't especially like the way they have that wire routed right next to that sharp aluminum roof. So I'm going to open that up a little bit wider, and I'm also going to make it so I put a second wire down there because I want to get 2 wires going down to the controller, 1 for each solar panel. So yeah, I'll just drill that, open up the hole a little bit, and then one thing they did not do that they probably should have was just shoot a little bit of caulk sealant around the edge of the pipe. Not sure why they did not do that. So anyway, okay, I'll videotape the next step when I get to it. Okay, so I just want to make sure that I come in here in a way that's not going to interfere, and this will work. All right, here we go. There we go. Okay, we are through. So the solar panel is going to be fine right there. We've got the second wire is going down through the roof. We've got enough up here to make it to the new panel location. Okay, so let's climb downstairs and get the wire over to the controller. Yeah, I don't get it. The weather says that it's going to be getting nicer, but it just keeps getting worse. I'm trying to fish these 2 10-gauge wires down from the roof across the cabinets and over to the controller for the solar panels. And this is in an area where I cannot see because of the boards, so I used the cell phone camera as a way to look up inside of there to see what's going on. So now I'm pulling through that slack, and then I will backfeed the appropriate slack to have a nice gentle curve going into the cabinets and across. So the cell phone camera is a pretty good little trick for seeing in blind places. Okay, here we go. We've routed the wires down through the ceiling here. And you can see the wires come down next to the vent pipe, and then they go through the wall into the next compartment. Okay, Dad, we got burgers, they're on. Okay, we are still working on the solar install, and here is where we are at this point. We have the new wires are run down through the roof, through the sewer vent cap next to the 1.5-inch black ABS vent pipe. They come down through the roof next to the pipe, and then they go across through the wall into the next cabinet over.
It's almost dinner time.
Then they go through that cabinet over to here and into this cabinet, through this cabinet, across through here, and out here, and that is where the solar controller is going to be. So the two solar panels come in through these two new 10 gauge wires, UV resistant. Then the solar controller is going to feed back to the batteries through these two new 6 gauge wires, and those are there going back through the walls, and we have them routed back through the cabinet into here.
Stop by Florence and visit.
And they go down.
I'm going to be more than likely going to be truck driving this summer, so.
And they come out back through there, and we'll put some 1-inch split loom over those, and then they connect into this.
Onions, laughing out loud. Yeah, I'm up here with Jeff, CTAP 1. We do have some diced.
So we have that, and then.
They're done, so.
Okay, so I'm done on the inside. This is the fuse that we're going to use to connect to the new inverter. This is the new inverter. It is a Xantrex PureSign 600 watt inverter. It has a USB out port on it too.
Burgers are done, Jeff.
Okay. And so now we are going to pause for hamburgers.
Inside, okay.
Okay, so we have the two new 10 gauge wires coming up through the roof, and I put a lot of black electrical tape around the pipe and the wires to hold the wires against the pipe, and then I put non-leveling die-core around the base of the pipe to seal everything in. So now I'm going to set the base. This is just a test fit right now. Let's see what we get here. Okay, so that's good. The base will fit just right where I want it to. All I gotta do is trim this tab off here, and then we'll be set to go. And then I'm going to put die core around the bottom of the sewer cap and then screw it down into the die core, and that will seal everything up. Okay, so let me do that step, and then I will start the video, do the next scene. Okay. Okay, so I have the wires are routed up now. There is the roof cap. We've got the wires are taped off to the luggage rack to hold them stable, because the top of the sewer cap is kind of cheap and flimsy and I don't want it breaking, so I have the wires taped over there to hold them stable, and then when I get to mounting them properly, I will put a clip on them and then screw them down to the roof with the screw for the solar panel. So this is the UNISOLAR panel, 80 watts, and I am taking it up so that I can access the attachment point underneath. But here's the reason why you want to change things out. This screw has been leaking and it is loose. Might even just pull right on out. I mean, I can turn it by hand, it's so loose. And okay, so I need to clean that up, and I need 2 hands to do it, but I wanted to show you why it's good to perform regular roof maintenance on your RVs. So I'm using a utility blade point to clean out the square drive hole, and yeah, it doesn't want to let me get my tip in there to unscrew it. It's probably just corroded, rotted, and I can undo it with a pair of pliers. one more time, but I'm going to have to put the camera back down because I can't do this with two hands. But as you can see, it's dark outside, and I'm determined to push onward and upward to get this thing finished. Yeah, this ought to just pull right out. It's so bad. And there it goes. See, so this has been rotted for a while. I'll put a new, larger screw in there, and that'll take care of that. Then embed it in die-core. I'll just put a blob of die-core on it and screw in a larger screw. That should take care of it. Maybe I'll put in 2 screws into a fresher piece of wood. Okay, so the solar panel is loose now. Let me move these things out of the way. And I'll show you what's underneath it. Okay, let's pop this side here loose too. Okay, that was just a flat scraper blade that I broke the seal loose with. Okay, let's see what we got here. I should be doing this with 2 hands. Okay, as you can see, it's got a bit of a accumulation of dirt underneath, and there is the junction box. Okay. There's the old wire coming out of it. Alright, so let me 2-hand this here for a minute, and then I'll bring you back. Okay, there, got the cover off, so you can see how the 2 wires connect in there. Very simple. And that is the panel information. So this one's not even an 80-watt panel, it is a 64-watt panel. It's even less than what I thought. It's better than nothing. Okay, I am going to need both hands now. Okay, and so the new wire, I'm going to pull this wire out of that weather sealed connector and put the new wire in. Okay. Okay, so I'm just about to make the connections of the new 10-gauge wire into the old UNISOLAR panel. As you can see, it's now dark. Everybody else is holed up in their campers now. So let's get going here. Now, what we're going to do is crimp the wire connectors onto the 10-gauge wire and connect them into the solar panel. So we're going to use a couple of these fork connectors. One, two. Let's strip these wires here. Just need 1/4 of an inch. And okay, cut just 1/4 of an inch off of the wire. And you see how this crimper has a half circle and a prong that goes in. That is the best kind of crimper. I wouldn't use any other crimper than that. Okay, and that is a forever crimp. Goes here. Black wire goes to the black wire on the solar panel, and the red wire goes with the red wire on the solar panel. And the other three don't do anything at all. Okay. Then let's make sure that our nut is tight inside of there. Okay, and we want to tighten this compression nut, make sure that it seals over that 10-2 wire. Just turn this back a little bit to set it. Okay. And there, the wire is now in place. So now, let's put our solar cover back on, screw it down, and we're going to set the panel into some die-core. Okay, we are going to flip the panel over now. So, let's begin to reassemble. And we are going to just put die-core right over the holes. Right over this hole.
It's clear up there.
What's that?
The sky's clear.
Yeah, it is, I think. We're getting moonlight. Okay. Alrighty. Okay. So we just got to get this cleaned off before we can set the screws back down into the roof. Okay, let's fill those. Just put a bunch of caulk under it. Okay. All right. Okay. So that one, I guess it had a little more bite than I thought it did, which is good. The place is a mess right now because I'm deep into wiring these new solar panels. So this is where we are right now. It's about 12:30, and I'm going to knock it off here in a minute. But these are the two 10-gauge wires that come down from the solar panels. These are the new 6-gauge wires that are going to go from the controller down to the batteries. And this is how we have everything routed here. We've got nylon clips holding the wires together. There's holes through the cabinets. And then we're just following the routing of the old wires. So the new solar wires are the black ones on top, and the red-black below are going down to the batteries. And over here you can see the wires going up into the sewer vent cap, and that is a waterproof, rainproof entry point up on the roof. And then these are the wires routing down to the batteries. We've got some zip ties with a eye on them that we can screw into the framing. So we've got 3 of those going down, and we have it routed the same as it was before. And we have a couple of zip ties holding the wires to the cabinet frame in back, and then the wires come on down and come out here. So they'll hook into the wiring block here, and they'll just replace the solar wires that were there before. And the old solar wires are that black and white wire you see right there with the fuse on it. Okay, so that is where we're at with wiring the solar right now. And this here is the solar controller. So what we're going to do is we'll have one under and one over for each of the positive and negative wires from the solar panels. And then the same thing for the battery. The battery will just need, what we'll do is we'll take the 6-gauge wire and kind of split the wire into two, and then put half of the wires in here and the other half the wires on each side of the screw, and then this square washer will compress down onto both halves of the 6 gauge, and we'll do that on each of these wire connections. And so this is just the old original PWM controller that came with the camper, and it still works, so we might as well use it. Okay, so that is it. I'm going to pack it up for tonight. I have a lot of stuff that I need to straighten out before I can even think about going to bed. So I will see you tomorrow and show you the wrap-up on a solar install. It's about 1 o'clock in the morning now, and just wanted to show you quickly before I tape it up and connect it. This is how I am connecting a 6 gauge wire to these terminals that are for about a 10 gauge wire. I've split the 6 gauge wire into two and then connected two 10 gauge terminals to that wire, and they are opposing to each other. And this is the finished connection here. You can see that the tongs of the crimp connector go all the way in, and then there's a square washer that will crush and connect both of these. You see how the bottom has teeth on it, and the washer on top also has teeth, so that will grip and keep those connectors from ever sliding out. And then I put some tape on the wire end to just make sure that there are no shorts between wires. So that is one way that you can do this, and I just thought you might like to see that. So there you go. And the purpose of the 6 gauge wire is to minimize the line loss from high current in low voltage DC wiring. Okay, I am going to wrap this up, and then I am going to go to bed. And I'm doing the same thing here with the other connectors, using the I-loop connectors, and it's the same thing with those. They'll just go in and make the connection the same way as this. I've got the two blacks will go together and the two reds will go together. Okay. All right, the solar installation is done. You can see here how we have the two panels come in and go through 10 gauge I connectors, and the power out to the batteries is on 6 gauge wire. And remember, the 6 gauge was split and twisted into two pairs, and then two 10 gauge spade plugs were crimped and connected to that and then taped together. And right now it's low sun, but we have 12.8 volts, and I'm getting 0.9 amps of a charge. And just before I was getting a 1.4 amp charge, but right now the sun is down and behind clouds. So as a refresher, we routed the wiring through there, and it comes down the wall in here, and then the solar charge wires go directly to the battery. And I'll show you what I did out there. We are under Dome Rock right now in quartzite. Alright, here are the batteries. And so what I did is, I'm just kind of experimenting right now, but if you look in back over there, that is where the battery or the solar positive charge wire is connected to. And on this side here is where the negative solar charge wire is connected to. And so then the truck charge is on these poles. So the solar charges diagonally one way and the truck alternator charges diagonally the other way. And it probably makes zero difference, but I just did that for fun, and we'll see if it makes any kind of a difference in how the batteries are charged. Okay, let me climb up on the roof and I'll show you the installation up there. It's not quite finished. I need to get some wire clips, rubberized clips, to secure the wires down, and I'll show you that in a minute. Okay, so the wires come up through the sewer vent, and I'm going to put a rubber clip there, and a rubberized clip here, a rubberized clip there, and another one on the bracket there, and that will secure the wires. This is the old UNISOLAR 64 watt panel, and that was just nowhere near enough to charge the system. This is the new Go Power 170 watt solar panel. It's a little bit smaller and puts out 2.5, almost 3 times the amount of power. Amazing how far technology has come from 2018. Okay, so that is the installation up here, and then everything is set into die-core, and so that will seal up everything. Okay, now I have to install the inverter, but yeah, look at there's the dome rock there. So let me run downstairs and see what the charge current is. We got a little more sun here than we had a minute ago. Alright, we are getting more sun right now. So let's see what we have. It's 13.0 or 1 on the volts, and look at that, 4.2 amps. That is more charge current than this system has ever seen. So I'm anxious to see what it would do in full sun. Okay, I have really got to clean this camper out now. This is a tornado in here, and it's no fun living like this. I need to get that put away, and then wire in the inverter, and then I will have an official home office. There you go, a pure sine wave inverter. I can safely plug my computer and printer in. Alright, checking out. Here is my new 600 watt pure sine inverter. I just did a video on that. And it's working great. So I'm very happy with that. Then, as you know, I installed a new solar panel on the roof, and if you look at the yellow button, you might be able to see that it is coming in and out of charge. There we go. You can see that the yellow button comes on and off, and so it is fully charged, which is something that didn't happen very often with just the 165 watt panel. Right now the batteries are completely full, so we're only getting about 1.6 amps of charge, and it's charged up to 14.6 volts. So that is very good. I'll take a climb up the ladder and give you a peek on the roof. What's interesting is this is the old solar panel, and you see it is larger than the new solar panel. This one is 65 watts. That's 170 watts, nearly 3 times the amount of output in a smaller space. That is technological advancement for you. And these are the new 10 gauge wires going down through the sewer vent cap. You can see I set the solar panel in Dicor. And that was all from Discount Solar. It's a monocrystal panel. If you look up there, you can see the new solar panel is kind of far forward on the roof. That was the only place that I could fit it. And there's the old panel behind it. The old panel is positioned so that it every so often is shaded by the air conditioner, and that's not good. The new panel is in a position where it never gets shaded. Eventually I'm going to get another panel like that, 170 watt go power, and put it on the other side of the roof, and that should work out pretty good. Let me walk around the front of the truck and maybe you can get a look at it. Yeah, you can just get a look at it. Okay, so that covers everything. Alright, thanks for watching. See you on the next video.